Happy day all, this is Kaveri from the Department of Social Science Psychology program. I will be handling about group influence, how groups shape the way we think, feel and act. So, we've all come across situations wherein we tend to change the way we behave when we are around people. There are instances wherein we shout during concerts or any sports, or sometimes we also tend to go with our friend's opinion even if we don't like it. Why are we behaving in that manner? What is influencing us? It is the group. So, the group has a power over us. Few questions before we get into this presentation. Why do we act differently in groups? Why do we feel more confident in front of friends than alone? Why do we sometimes put in less effort in group tasks? Or why do people riot in crowds but behave calmly when they are alone? All of this is because of the influence of the group. The presence of others can influence our thoughts, feelings and actions, sometimes for good and sometimes for worse. So, we will be going through few of these concepts, understanding how group shapes our behavior. So, the first concept is social facilitation, the second is social loafing, the third is deindividuation, the fourth is group polarization and the final one is groupthink. The first one, social facilitation. So, it refers to the tendency to perform better on simple or well practiced tasks and worse on complex or novel tasks during the presence of others. So, a theory from this concept is the drive theory. It means that we perform better when we are aroused, and also our dominant responses will be enhanced, and sometimes it can also impair a performance for non-dominant tasks. One of the another theory is the evaluation apprehension theory. It means that when we know that we are being evaluated, we tend to perform better. Some of the examples here is at the gym. When we go to gym, we tend to lift heavier, or we tend to work out a lot when others are watching us, or during a stage performance when we are doing something that we know very well, we tend to perform better when there is the presence of the crowd. The second concept is social loafing. So, here the tendency for individuals to put in less effort when working in a group. I am sure everybody would have experienced that. Why is that? The first one is called the Ringelmann effect. Here, if you can see in the photo, you can see that people pulling a rope in groups, they are exerting less force than a single person doing it. This is because one of the reason is diffusion of responsibility, wherein we become less accountable when we are in the group. And few examples here is, we've all been assigned group assignments when we were in college or school. So, what happens there is, one person does a lot of work while others don't. Next is, even when you work as a team, we tend to experience this a lot. The next concept is de-individuation. Here it is a state where people in groups tend to lose their sense of identity, the sense of who they are when they are in the presence of others, and they tend to behave in a very disinhibited or in a very impulsive manner. If you can see the picture, you can well understand this. So, it means that we feel that we are anonymous in a crowd, we tend to indulge in increased antisocial behavior or impulsive behavior. This is because there is a decreased self-evaluation. Also, one of the study, Halloween study, here it claims that children in groups and wearing costumes were more likely to steal candy because they felt anonymous. A few other examples are riots and looting, when people tend to vandalize or steal during protests, and also other sporting events when individuals go mad, they as a crowd they make a lot of noise. The next concept is group polarization. It refers to the tendency of group discussion to strengthen the dominant position held by individual members, making opinions more extreme. So, this happens when people of same ideology, same beliefs, same principle come together. They talk a lot about that. So, what happens? Those set of beliefs tend to strengthen. So, the key concepts here are social comparison theory. We shift our opinion to align more strongly with the group norm, so that we are accepted. The next is persuasive arguments theory. our exposure to more arguments related to our group's ideologies, we tend to reinforce those beliefs and they become more stronger. So, few examples are political discussions where people belonging to a political group will have their own set of principles, and when they come together, when they talk together about it, it tends to strengthen. The same implies to so many other venues as well. The last concept is groupthink. Here, it is a phenomenon where the desire for harmony and conformity in a group results in irrational and dysfunctional decision making. So, few symptoms of groupthink are that illusion of invulnerability, the feeling that my group will not fail no matter what. The next is rationalization, wherein we tend to ignore the warnings or evidences that are present, belief in group morality, the feeling that our group, we are all a bunch of good people. The next is stereotyping the outsiders. Here we tend to think that others do not understand what our group is. The next is self censorship, meaning some team members, they remain quiet. The next is pressure on dissenters, meaning if anybody is disagreeing with it, they are seen as outsiders. The final one is unanimity, meaning when we are silent, it is taken as a yes or a consent. A few examples here is when students come together and they accept on a very weak project idea, or when team leaders, team members, they meet as a group and they want to make a decision, and sometimes they end up making a rational decision. As you can see in the picture there, the thinking clouds, the blue ones, they mention the group indulging in groupthink, but underneath if you can see the yellow clouds, it has different opinions. Some feel like it might not be a good idea. So, this is groupthink. To recap all of this, in everyday life, these aren't just theories, these shape how we feel, how we think, how we act. So, that is social facilitation. When others are watching, we do better at what we are good at. Social loafing, in a group, individual efforts can sometimes fade. Deindividuation, in crowds, we tend to lose a sense of self and act in ways we never would have done. In group polarization, discussion with like-minded people can make our views a little more stronger. The final one is groupthink. Groups may value agreement more than smart decisions. Like, share and subscribe M.O.P Classroom for more interesting videos. Thank you.